What's going on, guys? Good morning. Another great day. So it's Monday, and honestly, it looks like there's a lot of potential today in the market. I do have to make this relatively quick today for pre-market. I actually got a call. I decided to pick up a shift at work. Somebody needed me there. So I'm going to make this relatively quick. So first I'm going to go over some continuation plays. So basically some stocks that we could potentially see continue to run, in which they had good days Friday, so we could see them continue to run into today. Good morning to you guys as well. And then I also want to talk about TEVA, where it could be a potential bounce or reversal play. It just depends if today is the day that it's going to finally make the move upwards after its big drop down. So let's jump into it. I have a few continuation plays, and then I have just a couple pre-market plays to go over. So this is going to be quick and fast paced, so I hope you guys can keep up because I do have to run here shortly. So that's why I started the live stream a little bit early. Okay, so first one on watch that I had on my list for continuations was CYH. Now CYH was one on Friday that made a huge move from about $6 all the way to $8. So if you guys are using Thinkorswim or some type of platform and you're following along with these specific stock picks, you'll see that CYH was one on Friday that had hit $6 and then moved all the way up to $8. There was no recent news to drive the price up. So whether it was technical, it looked like it gapped down recently, so that could be it, the fact that it just gapped down and now it's trying to fill that gap. So this is one where we could see a continuation. The price is resting at $7.50, which is a huge psychological area. So if it holds at $7.50 support, it might be a good entry point up until about the $8 mark. Now, if you look at a 1 year, 1 day chart on CYH, you'll see that on Friday, the price hit $8, but was soon quickly rejected all the way back down to about $7.45. So on a 1 year day chart, the candle has a very long upper wick, which is a little bit scary. Doesn't mean that we can't see it run today. It just shows us that if the price today does start to jump back up and we see that signs of upper momentum, be careful once it hits that $8 mark, because it previously was rejected at the $8 mark, and that's a huge psychological resistance point. So for CYH, for me, I would like to get in if it can hold support on $7.50, and then my first target price would be $8, which would be a clear resistance point. And then to go over some stuff on that, it doesn't have, I couldn't find any float on it. The relative volume is 10, so the relative volume is very high. That means more momentum's coming into the stock. The average volume on CYH is 3 million. Right now it's trading at 29 million. So the relative volume is very high. The average volume usually is about 3 million. And right now it's trading at 29 million, so very, very big. So this is something I would look to see a continuation or bounce around that 750 area, and then your resistance would be right at about $8. You can use FinViz, Daniel, so if you want to find all these things, you can go ahead and just go on to finviz.com. It's super easy and super quick. Just type in your ticker symbol in the search bar, and then you can scroll down and find exactly whatever you need. Okay, and now my next one that I'm really interested in is TEVA, because TEVA was one that I've had on watch for, the past couple days now. And the reason I'm really looking at this one, if you guys follow along on a 1 year, 1 day chart, I mean, you'll see that this thing has been gapping down like crazy, okay? And whether you want to call it a reversal or a bounce, whatever, you like to call that, whatever you're, familiar with, a reversal or a bounce works for me. It is gapped down from about $30, $33 all the way to $16, and what it's forming right now is a perfect bounce play. A lot of people will call this a dead cat bounce, but a dead cat bounce is when it bounces and it fails. But what I'm looking to see is if today is going to be the first big green day on this reversal. So this is setting up for a very nice reversal play. As you can see on a 1 year, 1 day chart, TEVA has gapped down. Just on Friday was its first green day, and if you look closely, that's actually a doji. It's very hard to tell, but that's actually a doji candle. There wasn't a lot of price action that day, so it ended up being a little bit of a doji, which could be signaling a reversal. So today I'm looking to see if this could be the first really big green day. And if you look at it, pre-market is already gapped up and it is showing some upward momentum in pre-market. All right, so TEVA has been on my watch for quite some time. Just to give you a little bit more depth on it, 900 million share float, so it's a very big float, but it also trades on a lot of volume. Carlos, I can't share my screen now. In the future, I will be able to, so you guys get a better picture of what I'm doing. When I reach about 10,000 followers on YouTube, that's when they actually let me go live from my computer. But as for now, I just have to do it with the phone, so we're just gonna have to work with what we got. But I do want to get to that. So TEVA has a 900 million share float. Its short float's only 6%, and that is expected because after this big gap down, there were shorts in it, shorts in it, shorts in it, and once the gap down started to curl back up and it's starting to show upward momentum, all the shorts are covering their position. So it's not surprising to see that there's no longer a big short interest in the stock because now it's starting to turn around. So I think TEVA could be a nice bounce play or reversal coming in, whether it be today or tomorrow. It is right on the verge of a bounce play that I personally feel. So that's why I'm going to keep TEVA on close watch. Its relative volume is 1.79, so not extremely high. It's kind of average. The average volume is 14 million. Right now it's trading at about 25 million. So it's outweighing the volume right now. So those are some good signs. There's no really crazy recent news on it, but I'm definitely watching TEV for a bounce play. Next on my list was JMEI. And of course, if none of these look appealing to you guys, none of you have to trade them or keep them on your watch. And yeah, so Corey, definitely. So I think there's going to be a nice bounce around on TVA. I'm going kind of quick here because I gotta run here. So I may be missing a few things here, but next one I had on my watch list was JMEI. There isn't any recent news for the big move that it had Friday, but it moved from about $2.20 in that area up to a high of $2.69 in after hours trading. All right, now this is like a prime example of when you see a stock just jump up and then it hold its highs. So I've seen stocks like this many times where they run up, they hold their highs in after hours and pre-market trading, and then we see it continue. Now there are a few things to watch out for this. This was one that I just caught, you know, kind of out of the blue, but it does look appealing to me, but I don't think it's going to be the best play in the book. So let's get some more depth on it. It's got an 11 million share float, so it can move quickly. It does have a low float. It has that volatility that we like as day traders. It has a short float interest of only 4%, so I wouldn't expect any type of short squeeze or shorts really get squeezed out on this particular stock. Sorry, and it's I said that wrong, sorry. JMEI is the stock that I'm looking at, JMEI. Now, its relative volume is 4.5, and it's got it usually trades around 700,000 shares of volume. Right now, it's trading at 3 million shares of volume. So as you can see, the volume's increasing, more people are coming in to trade it, and those are always good signs. Now, what does make me a little bit nervous with JMEI, well, there's a couple things that look good here, okay? So pre-market, if you're looking at JMEI, you'll realize that the price is sitting right at about $2.60, okay? So it's holding up, it's not really building support there, but it built support there on Friday just before the close. You'll see it kind of bounced around that 260 area. So I'd really like to see if that 260 could hold up, and then maybe we'll get continuation. If it does fail when the market opens, and we're looking at JMEI. So when the market opens, I would hope to see that 260 holds up, and then we start moving back upwards. If not, maybe look for a bounce off 250. That's a possibility. But if you look at a 1-year day chart on JMEI, if this stock does continue to run today, be a little bit cautious. My first target price, if this continues to run, is only going to be $2.80. So we're really only looking for about a 20-cent move before our first resistance point, which is the 100-day moving average on a 1-year chart. So if you look at it, you have your 100-day moving average on your 100-day moving average on a 1-year chart, and it's resting at about $2.80, and the price is only at $2.60. So it really is only 20 cents room for profit right now before we run into our first sign of resistance. If we can break that, my next target would be $3. So for this, I would look to get in maybe around 260 if it can hold up and it starts showing some good signs, maybe level 2 and whatnot. If it breaks or it cracks, you could potentially get a bounce play right at 250 because 250 is a huge psychological support or resistance area, you could say. And then the next one for continuation is FRTA. And mind you, these are no stocks, these are no pre-market stocks right now. These are just continuation plays from Friday that I'm hoping to see do well. And then I'll hop into some pre-market here very quickly before I have to run. So FRTA, now this one's really exciting to me. I personally do like it, and this was going to be on very close watch. So if you look at 1 year day, you'll notice that this thing went from about, $20, $22, then it gapped down to, what is that, maybe $8 or sorry, $5. And then it ended up gapping down again, and it just hit a low of $3.19 before we see it start to curl back up. Now, there's a few things to look at. You could be using a 5-minute chart or a 1-minute chart. I'm looking at both and a year chart. But if you look, at a 1-minute or a 1-day chart previously on Friday, you will notice that the stock just completely ripped. It went from about $3 and it closed in after hours at about $474, $470, $460. Now, what I really like about this is a stock that ran up Friday. It's holding those highs in pre-market and in after hours trading, so it didn't sell off. Okay, so it's holding those highs and it's showing us that the price is able to stay up in that high price point area, so we could definitely see it run, okay? Now, the other cool thing that I really like about this stock is the fact that it's showing signs that traders do like to trade it. And what I mean by that is there's enough traders watching it and playing it that the psychological trading is coming into place. If you look at on a 1-minute chart or even a 5-minute chart you could use, on Friday, the price ripped up, pushed through $4, hit a peak of about $4.38, and then it came right back to $4, and it bounced very hard on $4. So it bounced super strong right off the $4 mark, so that lets me know that traders are watching the stock and they are using it, and they're using the $4 mark as a psychological support area. So that just tells me that there's enough traders watching the stock to play those psychological support and resistances. So right now I'm looking to see if this thing can break over 470, the after hours trading. So if it can break over 470, my first target would be $5. But if it does tend to crack, I'm going to look to get in on a bounce over 450. And the reason that I think we're going to get a nice bounce on 450 is because we had a good bounce off $4 on Friday. So if we could hit 450, we might see a nice bounce there. All right, looks like there's a few comments in here, maybe about AMD. So yeah, FRTA. I don't know if I have time to tech BW, but I know that there's a few other people in my chat room that liked BW. So I would say keep it on watch because other people have been talking about it. Great bounce plan. AMD usually pull back a market. So Corey, AMD, I did take a look at AMD. I just analyzed it. I didn't go into it today, but AMD is actually falling right on its long-term trend line right now. So I would expect to see a bounce maybe today or tomorrow or relatively soon. And I'll leave a link in the description of this video below to get into that chat room. It's just through Discord, nothing too crazy. BSTG, maybe earnings call. So let me recap FTRA here. So if you notice FRTA, it bounced on $4 Friday. That tells us traders are watching it and they're using the whole and $half marks as support and resistance. Right now the price is right at $4.59. If this thing kind of breaks as soon as the market opens, I'm going to look to see if it can hold, or I would like to look to see if it can hold $4.50. If it can hold $4.50, you could get a good bounce play off $4.50, and then my first target price would be around $4.75, and then the $5 mark. Just have to wait and see how it plays out. So FRTA, the relative volume is 4.86, so it is fairly high. The average volume they trade on is 1 million. Right now it's 5 million. So that just tells us that the volume and the momentum are picking up in this stock, all right? So the two pre-market ones that I had time to analyze this morning and that really looked appealing to me, first was CVM, but really there's a few problems with all these ones on the pre-market today, okay? So if you're looking at CVM, there was some news, and I think, yeah, there was this news this morning that the FDA lifted their clinical hold on their phase 3 cancer studies. And so, is that what it is? Yeah, they lifted. So basically, the FDA put a hold on one of their phase 3 or some of their clinical trials, it sounds like, and then they ended up lifting that hold so that they can resume their study or resume whatever they're doing with this cancer study, okay? So that's why we're seeing this thing gap up. Now, what makes me a little bit nervous is the fact that it's not trading on such high volume. So it is gapping up, but there's really not enough people watching it right now. There's not enough traders. And not only is there not enough traders, if you were to go and do a little bit of research on it, I'm going to tell you the news, or not the news, but the depth in it isn't good, okay? It does have an 8 million share float, so we could see it move quickly. That's a plus. The short float interest is 8%, so it means that there isn't a lot of people betting the stock is going to go down, so that would be another plus to go long. But the relative volume is only 0.29. Super low. That means there's not a lot of momentum in this stock. The average volume is only 159,000. And as day traders, we want to trade stuff that's at least trading at 500,000 shares of volume. Liquidity, we can get in and we can get out of our orders quickly, right? So it's only trading at 159,000 shares of volume, and its current volume is only 50,000. So it does have good news. It is gapping up. It was like the leading gapper. When I looked at it, it was 59% up pre-market. It's probably maybe 40 or something now. I don't know. But, you know, it's hard to say. It doesn't have enough volume. The news is great, but the people and the volume really isn't there. And then the next one down on my list, when I took a look at it and analyzed it, was CERC was up 34%. So for those of you looking at CVM, I didn't go into that very well here for you. It is gapping up, but there's not enough volume. As you can see, it's selling off right now. The moving averages are crossing over, so it does look kind of dead. But I would keep it on watch because, you know, with the news, there may be enough traders that end up coming into this stock a little bit later when the market opens to start driving the price, or just to start making it interesting where we can see some nice, you know, bouncing around. All right. Now, the next one I had on was CERC. So now CERC, this one is kind of interesting because it has been a recent spiker. It's gapping up today, or gapped up, and it was on news. It looked like they did have some news out there this morning. I'm not going to go into it too much, but it did have some news released basically all morning from 8 o'clock until now, 9 o'clock. So it had news all morning, 8 till 9. It was gapping up, and now it's starting to sell off. If you look at a 5-minute chart, it really looks very non-appealing. There is nothing exciting about CERC anymore. So, you know, just to give you some more depth on it, it had 12 million share float. The short float I could not actually find on it. The relative volume was only 0.14. So 0.14 is very low. The average volume is 800,000 shares of volume traded, and the current volume is only 112,000. So again, these leading gappers we've had this morning just have zero volume, and there's just not enough to make them really boom, okay? So they both had news. CVM, CERC, they both had news, but there wasn't enough good volume in traders watching it to really make these things jump the way we want to see them jump. All right, so I do have a few more minutes here that I want to go ahead and take a look back into my scan to see if anything has really changed. There was one this morning, FRSX. I'm not going to go into it. It just didn't look appealing to me, but it is still on the leading gappers this morning. So if you want to take a look at that, you guys can. But nothing has really changed. There was another one. All right, we can look at this one real quick, but I think it was kind of the same issue. There wasn't enough volume. LPCN. All right, so LPCN was another one that was gapping up, but it really just didn't have the volume. So, you know, personally, I think that based on what I have gone over so far, the best plays are honestly going to be the continuation play, in my mind, right? This is just the way that I trade and the way that I'm seeing things, but over my experience and based on what I'm seeing here, we do have really cool gappers this morning. We really do have some cool gappers this morning, but there isn't the volume behind any of the gappers to really justify getting into them and whatnot. it's Clayton's B-Day today, so everyone, it's Clayton's B-Day in the live stream right now. So happy birthday to you, boss, and I hope you're trading today and you make some money to take yourself out for a drink or some dinner tonight. All right. So again, I got to run here, but I think I won't be trading because I have to take off. But for me, I would like to play the continuation plays that I went over more so than anything I'm seeing pre-market. And that's for now. Obviously, we can run scanners. If you don't know what scanner I use, it's just a simple, basic momentum scanner that picks up very good stocks intraday. It's in my YouTube channel. If you haven't already watched that, you can. But if nothing that I go over or nothing that I see pre-market works out for me, then I end up just going strictly off my scanners and wait till I find something that's appealing, that's forming a flag pattern, a pennant pattern. Maybe there's a flat top breakout, but simply I just watch my scanner, be patient. If none of my plays for the morning work out, then I'll sit and be patient and wait for my scanner to pop up with something good. And that's what happens a lot of times. A lot of times the biggest stock will not be up pre-market. It will not be anything you've seen Friday. It will just come out of the blue, and you can't even foresee it coming. It's just something that comes out of the blue, and it just kind of, lingers, and then next thing you know, it pops up in your scanner, and it's freaking killing it. So like I said, nothing too appealing pre-market. So that was kind of a little pre-market session for you guys today. I'll be here every morning, so if you want to tune in, and if you guys ever have any questions, you can leave it in the comment section below, or if you ever want me to analyze something for the next day, you can send me a message on Facebook or just post on my Facebook page or something like that. That's usually the best way to get a hold of me. So if you ever want me to analyze a stock and do it for this morning during our pre-market analysis, just let me know. But until then, guys, I got to run. So thank you all for, joining in. Appreciate it.